I've dated ones of women.
Extreme.
Get to the corner. It's time for Russell's Advice Corner. Oh, yeah.
So one thing that Matt has done recently is he always tries to introduce a new segment. And as part of this rolling going, I thought I would try to introduce a new segment.
Nice.
And so the segment is called... I'm going to find it now.
He's got to go through his tabs.
Here's the game.
His tabs are all like stuck in laundry machine.
The game is inspired by Jimi Hendrix and the song Love or Confusion. So the game is called Love or Confusion.
All right.
So I'm going to tell you guys about a few of the dating experiences I had, and you have to tell me, do you think, could this potentially lead to love, or is this just confusion?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the...
Brilliant.
I thought you were talking about the Chinese philosopher. Like, is this Confucian?
Like Confucian says,
yeah,
he who
exactly. It'd be about Confucius.
changes in a glass house,
say.
changes in the basement.
But
well, there goes my list in a few songs, but thanks, Rob. We'll just move on to my dating misery if that's all right.
Banana.
Microwave. Oh, wait. What were we saying?
Okay, so I know that we're talking about are you experienced, and I know you guys are experienced in the way of the ladies. You're all married. You've all been married for a long time, so you guys are going to give me some advice
experts.
here.
I love having sex with my wife, says Aaron.
Aaron, don't make that hand motion right now. It's so inappropriate.
That doesn't even make sense what you're doing, really.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's like you're on the bottom, but you're also facing down. Like, I don't...
All right, my
How does your leg do that?
Oh my God. What is even happening?
This is our posthumous work that everybody's going to listen to.
I don't even know if I can see the back of my knee. Like
I don't like when Aaron holds up that sign that says "Turn over and let Jimmy do his work."
Yeah.
It's so not cool for this podcast, Aaron.
Aaron's son finds this podcast. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so lucky I get to listen to what my dad was saying." It's just us talking about humping him face down. He's like, "What was this? Who's my dad? What is going on here?"
We also have confirmation that your mother-in-law and my mother-in-law both listen to this podcast.
Yeah,
This is just great
probably
stuff.
enjoying this.
Hey, Patty.
All right, love or confusion? Let's hear it.
Love or confusion. So I'm going to give you guys a few scenarios that I've experienced in the online dating world and see what you guys think of them, and maybe what would you think of it? How would you deal with it? The first one. Let's say I've gone out with a woman a number of times. This is not a first date where a guy just offers to pay. You go out a few times and you realize she never offers to pay at any point in the time you're going out with her. Is this sign of love or a potential sign of confusion?
Confusion.
Love. Confusion.
She's got to at least have the alligator arms, right? Like, well, let me look in my purse here. And, then you say, no, I got it. Right?
Why are they called alligator arms? The alligator arms are when they open like an alligator's mouth. They're not short. You're thinking of T-Rex arms.
Dinosaur arms.
Dinosaur arms. Alligators actually have quite long arms.
Oh, well, we learn something new every day, I guess. Yeah. So dinosaur arm, where geez, let me get.
And some dinosaurs actually have quite long front legs as well. So you really want to say Tyrannosaurus Rex arms. I think that's the best way to go about it.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Point taken.
So now that I killed the podcast, Matt, Matt, how often does your wife pay? Because you were saying earlier you don't like to tip now, especially during the pandemic. But how often does your wife like to pay?
Yeah, why do they make you pay a service charge and then you don't know if you're supposed to tip either? That's a bunch of bullshit right there. If you go to a restaurant, you should know damn well whether the 30% service charge is a tip or it's not a tip. Because all of a sudden, now you're paying like 60% and you don't know if it's a tip. You don't know what's going on.
I got news for you. A service charge, there is no way that is a tip. There's no way that a restaurant has a chance to make a little more money and they're like, you know what? We should give this out as a tip. So I think what Aaron says is great. I think 5% max tip. And he likes to do the thing too where he puts the $5 bills on the table and he's like, oh, forgot the water. Take one away. He likes that game.
I don't even know where to begin with this segment. I haven't been to a restaurant for over a year now, so it's been.
Aaron, should the woman ever pay? What do you think? I'm just say no, because if somebody's going with me, like they've already paid the ultimate price. They've been seen on a date with me. I can pay for the dinner. It's not a big deal.
I think if she's showing up to the dates with you, that's love, Russell. You don't have to ask any other questions. She's there. She could have chosen any other place to be at that moment. She's there. Nothing. No meal is worth the price of someone's time. If she's showing up and she's there with you, that's love. I don't care.
I've had some meals that have definitely been worth more than the time that I've spent there for sure. Too expensive. I'll tell you the sushi story sometime where we just sat down and got the bill and I almost threw up. I almost walked out and threw up outside of the restaurant.
Well, let's tell it now.
Oh, well, we sat down and Jenny was like, well, we're going to get this, 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 and this. And I think the bill came and it was 4 of us. And the bill was like, and it was like a restaurant like that you would just have in a mall or something. And the bill was like, I don't know what, $800, something like that. Like it was just insane for little pieces of fish.
So this does not surprise me. So one of the reasons I bring this up is I'm an older dude. So if I'm going out with someone now, we're not going to Applebee's. We're not going to like a dive bar. We're going to a real restaurant or a real bar with like nice drinks or whatever.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, we are in the drive-through, but my truck is really jacked up. So it's kind of the VIP. See, that's a problem too. Aaron is like, yeah, sometimes my wife pays because she's always driving when we go through the drive-through. You know what I mean? Like she's closer to...
I mean, he's in the back seat, so
okay. So I'm
hard to pass the credit card up front.
I'm going to let somebody else get a word out here. Russ, keep going. I want to hear this.
Well, one of the reasons I brought this up is I remember it was probably a year ago or so, and I went out with this woman 5 or 6 times, and we were getting along, we were having fun and everything. And at one point, we went to this restaurant, and the bill came, and she looked at me and she goes, "Do you want to split it?" And it was the first time she'd ever said anything like that, so I was just in a moment of stupidity, just said, "Yeah, that's fine." Where I should never have done that. No. And so we split it. And then when we were walking back afterwards, and she kind of looked at me and she goes, "It bothers me that we split the bill there." And I was like, "What? What?" And she goes,
"Man, that's a trap.
I don't mind paying once in a while, but I don't want to ever split a bill if I'm going to date you." And I was like, "Okay, good to know that." And she goes, "I'm willing to pay, but it's probably 10% of the time. You need to know that." And I was like, "Okay, good to know." And it was the last date we ever had, not by my choice, but I split the bill the one time, and we never went out again.
Can you imagine?
It was her suggestion, so she's like testing you. Like,
I think it was definitely a test, and the Russ man failed.
If she's going to test you like that, then I don't know.
She was looking for you to fail. There would have been another test later. Like that's
She was like, "You can hit it, or we can split it, but you can't do both." Like.
It would have been nice to know that before the fact.
Yeah. At the end, she takes off her outer shirt and her undershirt, which she was wearing the whole time, like Coob from Parker Lewis Can't Lose, says, "You can split it or hit it. You can't do both." And you're like, oh.
Actually, I don't really like giving out too much information, but I think the same girl that didn't like my regular T-shirts also was the one who ran the split the bill game on me. So maybe it was a double.
You have just dodged the biggest bullet ever. You've lived to see another day.
Yeah.
You're coming out ahead here, Russell.
Plus, Russ was just like, the meal was just one Cinnabon. Like, do we really have to split it? Like, we can just, one of us can pay.
And I ate most of it. She only had like a bit of the frosting.
I had a bite, and then I said I have to go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom for like 15 minutes. I came back. She had had more than half. She was so
upset about it.
She had more than half, so I yelled, and I yelled a lot. Like, the manager of the Orange Julius came out. I was yelling a ton, but can you believe she wanted to split it? Like,
do you guys want another scenario of the game?
All night.
I do want to know,
game called
does Orange Julius still exist?
This album is like 3 songs long. We can talk for 5 hours, and we'll still have a shorter podcast
guitar player of all time.
All right, here's the next scenario for you guys who are experienced. Love or confusion. I always have to initiate a text or phone conversation. So I text, she always responds, she always goes out, but she will never text first, never invite me to do anything. Love or confusion?
I mean, again, it's love.
How many times
shows
have
up?
you
That's
gone out?
love.
Yeah. Let's say we're over like the five date mark, Matt. Let's say it's been enough where
that's love.
Listen, it doesn't matter. You got to get down on your knees and you got to crawl and beg. And if she says to you, "Hey, to date me, you got to scrub this spot on my bathroom floor for 4 hours," you get down on your knees and you scrub that spot on the bathroom floor for 4 hours. When I was starting to date Jenny, she said to me, she goes, "Listen, we can date, but you can't tell anyone we're dating." And I, without like a millisecond, I was like, okay, like no shame whatsoever. Like it wasn't like, oh, there's a secret love affair I'm married. It was literally like, no one can know we're dating.
So what did you think at the time when she told you that? Like at some point after you got done,
I am
scrubbing
so
your
happy to be
floor?
dating this person. Shh, I'm so happy to be dating this person. Nobody can hear me say it. It's a secret. I didn't care. She would have said like, you can't tell anybody, and you have to crawl through this broken glass. I would have been like, yes, that sounds good to me.
Rob, would you have taken the deal if she would have said you can never tell anyone ever? Let's say you guys were going to live together, you were going to be married, have a family, but you could never tell your friends or anyone that you were her husband.